Hello, everybody. I'm Angie. You're at Reaction Talk, and I am reacting to Oliver Anthony. Pleasure to meet you, part two, and not because I want to jump on a viral bandwagon or use him in any way to gain to gain from it, off of his uh, words or his story or his reactions to the world, reacting to him. I am doing this because there's people waiting for me to react to this because I did the first one. And so I've had some comments of like waiting. They were very excited to know my perspective when this came out. Now, I'm sorry I'm late to the game. I haven't done reactions for a couple weeks, just dealing with life and kind of been in the dumperoos. So I haven't had the motivation mentally to just go and get her done. So I do apologize. But I am going to react to this and have a conversation because that's the point. The point is to have a conversation and get people talking and understanding why are we in the condition that we're in the world? What is happening? And there are underlying causes that are creating the results, the everyday what we're living through, the consequences of those actions and underlying causes that are happening. And people aren't, they are on the surface of things and haven't gone deep enough into themselves or deep enough. And usually that's the first step in order to understanding the world around you, because if you don't know you, then you surely can't know anything that's going on around you. And I know that from a firsthand experience. I've gained a lot of knowledge through the years, the last 10 years, and I can see how different my perception is compared to an average person because they don't have that same knowledge and those they can't, so that the equations or the conclusions that they come to scenarios in the world are very, very different, and truthfully a lot of the times wrong because they don't have the right information to conclude. They don't have the right equation from the knowledge to conclude the truth, what's actually happening. So it's very interesting to me as I go about my daily life because I do wear a different hat than a lot of people. I am not your average person by any means. I am a deep thinker, analytical, asking why, holding myself, trying to hold myself to a higher standards, but then still succumbing to my own addiction. I have addictions that I have to deal with, not smoking, just like an obsessive compulsive behavior sometimes, and then I have an irresponsible relationship with sugar, food, up and down, good sometimes, bad other times, and so we're trying to get that figured out. And it's been worse than quitting smoking. So um, it's just a very interesting thing that what happens in the brain and the substances that some people can't get away from. Some people can't stop drinking. Some people can't stop smoking. Some people, some people have a desire to, but then the habit is stronger than the will. And that's a good point to make, is that the will, we have willpower. And if we can't tap into that willpower, then there's something wrong. And I have a little card up above the video, and it says a small cabal of evil sorcerers control our whole planet by manipulating the consciousness of its people into a vibration of fear. And the vibration of fear leads to those seeking out other means of substances or behaviors that provide endorphin and rushes, which create addictions. And some people don't have control over the amount of what they do because they're trying. There's a It's almost a reaction, or it's in response to the condition of the whole world, really, because people are seeking out feeling good and in a controlled system, and for the most part enslaved system. It's hard to find those outs. This is why people are so excited to get out of work on Friday afternoon, because they got the 2 days off and it's freedom to do whatever you want, not the control system that you're forced to do a lot of the times to create monetary means in order to survive. blah 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 blah. All right, enough talking. The whole point though is that it's about him making a real like impact in people's lives of asking questions. And why do the mainstream political all whatever you want, I don't think oligarch is the right word, but you know, puppets always need to put people in buckets? Why is it that if somebody comes out and they say something, somebody wants to come and co-sign and say, oh, you're in the right bucket, political bucket, or you're in the left political bucket? I am an individual and I have individual thoughts, and I will not co-sign with any cult. Those are cults, and they can, you know, what they can do, because they're just another form of the mind control for us to get in a divided state. People need to listen to things logically and weigh them based on logic and truth, not based on left or right. Right or wrong is the proper measurement of deciding whether something is, you know, legit. And then understanding what right and wrong is you have to go down that and figure that out, because people think what's right for them is right and what's wrong for them is wrong, and that is absolutely not true. So let's see what he has to say after all this blew up and it went completely nuts of what they did.
Well, hey there. It's August 25th, 2023. A lot's changed since the last time I sat here and spoke to you. My friends and family have asked me how I'm doing. Everybody is wondering if I've lost my sanity yet, and I'm surprisingly calm and at peace. I don't even know what to say, but I feel thankful to be given this opportunity. You know, the music side is exciting, and all the Billboard, iTunes charts and all that crap, that's great. But what's the exciting part's been the conversations I've had with people.
Thank you.
And the things I've learned just in a couple weeks about the human spirit, and about all sorts of other things, the music industry, and how dirty everything is.
Yeah.
Like it's worse than you think. So I don't know what the future looks like for me. I'm not really too concerned about the future. I'm living in the present, and I just have to have the discernment to make the right decisions from here on out, because I think about that guy who was sitting here a few weeks ago talking to you, and the most important thing to me is not leaving him behind.
There you go, brother. Yep.
I don't want to go on some roller coaster ride and come off a different person.
Yep.
If there is.
So this is in response to him turning down that $8 million contract from that label, whoever offered that to him. And I'm sure he's gotten a lot of more offers of various sorts, right? This is the thing. The majority of the people in the world would have not turned down that contract. They don't care what strings were attached to it. They hear $8 million and they think it's going to solve all their problems, and they don't care, and the pull is too strong, and they go forward. And then regret comes later on, because then they own you. And people don't understand that the price comes with great consequences. And if you can't still be who you are in your soul, and that changes, if they're able to manipulate that, then you're just serving the beast. Then you're just serving the problem. If more people said no, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in the world. But whatever, those are my 2 cents. AOAO FIPO.
If there's anything for me to address at all with you, it's that you know, it's the one thing that has bothered me is seeing people wrap politics up into this.
There you go.
I'm disappointed to see, like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's aggravating seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies and act like we're fighting the same struggle here, like that we're trying to present the same message. Uh, you know, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've tried to be polite to everybody, and I've talked to hundreds of people the last 2 weeks. But it seems like certain people want to just ride the attention of this song to maybe make them their own selves relevant, and that's aggravating as hell. The other thing that I find aggravating is, well, you know, like, it was funny seeing my song in the. It was fun. It was funny seeing it at the presidential debate, because it's like I wrote that song about those people, you know. So for them to have to sit there and listen to that, that cracks me up. But it was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, you know? It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden. That song is written about the people on that stage, and a lot more too, not just them, but
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you think it's funny that people don't care about the morality of their own behaviors or actions and don't question them and just jump on a bandwagon and be like, "Oh yeah, we can use him, we can get some views, we can do this, we can do that." Um and the thing is it was funny. I was talking to Roland about corporate structure. I work in a small business, very small company now, tiny, not even 10 people. So I've always worked in enterprise, large corporations, and there is I'm not, pro corporation because there's a lot of negatives that go along with that, but I'll tell you that there is a standard that is usually set within code of conduct and integrity and an ethical thing. And in the financial portion or part of the departments of the company, corporation, you can never, like, let's say you're gonna have a picnic for a department and, somebody is making something and blah, blah, blah. Turns out that there's a payment that needs to be made to maybe an employee for something or something transactional that needs to happen within the monetary, arena, department, whatever you want to call it. The question that's always asked is if I'm in who benefits? If there's somebody who benefits directly from this transaction, then it's considered unethical and you can't go forward with it. And no, that's how decisions are made. And it's so funny that we're dealing with all these politicians, right and left, uh, everywhere in between, and they all seem to ignore the ethical responsibilities of finances, of, you know, all the industries, healthcare, human rights. This is all game, joke, lies. And then as soon as somebody goes viral for a song that speaks to the average working person who probably could never afford a house, pays rent, goes to work every day, doesn't miss a day, been there 20 years, but still can never get ahead enough where they could have something bigger or fix the roof or whatever that they need to do. Um, and then you got these politicians coming and usurping the message as if they are the heroes. Remember that. They will usurp the message as if they are the heroes. This is our guy. Come to our side. It's all lies and bullshit. And you got to see bullshit when it's right in front of your face. They do it on purpose. So then you got all the right leaning people jumping on the bandwagon saying it's their song, their movement, their views. Bullshit. It's the people, and it's not the people who think that they might be trying to fix the problems at the top, because those people they're not living paycheck to paycheck. They're just not. So let's see what else he's got to say.
Definitely them. It's cool seeing some of my other music come out because people are, I guess, starting to appreciate and understand what it is I'm really trying to say. It's hard to get a message out about your political ideology or your belief about the world in 3 minutes and some change. But I do hate to see that song being weaponized. Like, I see the right trying to characterize me as one of their own, and I see the left trying to discredit me, I guess in retaliation. That shit's got to stop. If you watch the response videos on YouTube to this song, it's not conservative people responding to the song. It's not even necessarily Americans responding to the song. I don't know that I've seen anything get such positive response from such a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
And I think that terrifies the people that I sing about in that song.
Yes, it does.
And they've done everything they can the last 2 weeks to make me look like a fool, to spin my words, to try to stick me in a political bucket. And they can keep trying, but I'm just going to keep on writing. And I've got a lot of words to put down on paper, and I've got a lot of songs to put to chords, and I don't know what my music career is going to look like. I don't know how many shows I'm going to do and how many tours I'm going to put on, but I am going to stay true to my word. I'm going to write, produce, and distribute authentic music that represents people.
There you go.
And not politics. I do feel compelled to address something. Since I have addressed the conservatives, I do need to address the left as well, because they're sending a message out that initial song that sort of shot me up the radar, Richmond, North of Richmond, is an attack against the poor. If you listen to my other music, it's obvious that all of my songs that reference class defend the poor. Doggone, it's a good example of that. Needles in the street, folks hardly surviving on sidewalks next to highways full of cars self-driving. The poor keep hurting and the rich keep thriving.
So the only reason they would say that is to invert. Everything is inverted in the world, and you can look at that and figure that out on your own, but if you look deep, it's all inverted. So of course they would say that he's talking bad about poor people, right? He's not. He's talking about the broken system, and the people who get rewarded are not the people who go to work every day and have been there 20 years and are never, don't miss days and pay their bills on time, but don't have enough to do the roof or to get, a canoe or something like that. It's the hardworking people. And then the people who aren't hardworking and benefit from the system continuously, right, without effort, that's broken. That is a broken system. That's a socialist system. If you reward people who do less or don't do nothing at all, that's not, equal opportunity, is it?
It's like, that's what I like to sing about. And, the English language is interpretive, and so I do understand, like, there may be some people who misunderstood my words in Richmond, North of Richmond. But I've got to be clear that my message, like with any of my songs, it references the inefficiencies of the government because of the politicians within it that are engulfed in bribes and extortion. And, the words say that there's people on the street with nothing to eat and the obese milking welfare. That references a news article I read earlier this summer that adolescent kids in Richmond are missing meals over the summer because their parents can't afford to feed them and they're not in school to eat cafeteria lunch. And meanwhile, I think like 30 or 40% of the food bought with welfare or EBT money is in a classification of like snack food and soda. I think 10% spent on soda, and I want to say like 20 or 30% spent on junk food. And that's not the fault of those people. Welfare only makes up a small percentage of our budget. We can fuel a proxy war in a foreign land, but we can't take care of our own.
Yeah.
That's all the song's trying to say.
Because war is more important. You have to those wars get stuff done and make lots of money for lots of people, and the karmic revenge is on the backs of the soldiers and the families that lose their loved ones in the aftermath. So I think that the problem is that when people don't know right and wrong, so we go back to right and wrong. And if you know what a right is and a wrong is, then you would know that it is wrong to take from a, it's wrong to take something that's not yours or takes from other people and redistribute it against that person's will. It's not right at all. So there's a broken system, and people have a way to, they convince you there's scarcity when there's abundance. And unfortunately, the ability to find abundance for the majority of people is always through the handout method, because it's easy and it's without a lot of effort, because people have an inability to want to, they don't want to work or take the action part of that's required in life to obtain the things that we need. And it's easier than to get something that you don't have to, some people just like getting free stuff all the time without, but, all right, well, we got to pause right now. Hold on. Okay, so we had to pause. Roland come in. He didn't know I was recording. All right, let's go back to the video. I wasn't sure exactly what I was talking about, but you guys get the gist of it. The system's broken. You can't reward people for not doing anything and then work the people in the ground who do everything. It's not, that's not equal opportunity, okay? And anybody who wants equal opportunity gets to work for it. That's equal opportunity.
It's just saying that the government takes people who are needy dependent and makes them needy independent.
That's right. They absolutely do.
And at some point I will dissect all my lyrics of all my songs if that's what I need to do. I mean, 30 some million people understood what I was saying, but it only takes a few to try to derail the train.
1%.
To try to send out false narratives. And I'm sure there'll be more of that to come. It's like, it's driving people crazy to see the unity.
Yep, they hate it because they can't.
From all walks.
That's right. Because if the people unify, then they'll all understand who the real enemies are. The people are the ones at fault. They allow the oppression, they allow the tyranny, they allow the system to keep beating them down, and then they keep looking up to these politicians as proxy mommy and daddy who are going to save them because they got mommy and daddy issues they never resolved. It's ridiculous, people. Come on. The government is not your father or your mother, and they don't motherfucking care about you, so stop thinking that they do.
This isn't a Republican and Democrat thing. This isn't even a United States thing.
Nope.
Like, this has been a global response. Mm-hmm. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Go on YouTube and watch all the response videos, And don't shoot the messenger. Like, I'm a nobody.
He's somebody.
It's my belief that divine intervention has put me in this position in this point in time to get a message across, and that's all there is to it. Like, I'm nobody special. I feel terrible almost that I've been put in this place because there are a lot of artists and musicians out there that are far more talented that have put in way more hours than me. Like, I don't deserve to sit in the top 5 places on the iTunes charts.
Bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because we've had plenty of artists forever and ever and ever who have top fans, top views. They could get the message out. They choose not to. They serve the beast. I don't care what you say. Because if they wanted to get the message out, they would. Look at Chris Webby. He's getting the message out. I don't see people getting the message out. Especially love some of Kelly Clarkson's music, but she's not getting the message out. She's not talking about the problems in the world, in society. No, shake your booty, hip hop, dance around and forget about your problems and forget about all the wrongs in the world and escape. That's what they tell you to do. So I say bullshit to that. And this is what we need. We need regular people coming out and singing stuff that affect everybody every day.
They could give a shit less about the iTunes charts.
Thank you.
What I care about is connecting with people.
Thank you.
What I care about is...
Go back. We gotta go back.
What I care about is...
Sorry, gotta go back.
5 places on the iTunes charts.
Right.
And the truth is, I really could give a shit less about the iTunes charts.
There you go. That's the type of people we need. Not the people who are just waiting to get on the top of the iTunes charts for clout, for money, for whatever, instead of doing the right thing and talking about the real stuff. What a burden sometimes.
I don't know what this country is going to look like in 10 or 20 years if things don't change.
Yeah.
I don't know what this world's going to look like. And like something has to be done about it, you know? There's been too many people die.
For no
There's been too
reason.
many people sacrifice everything they've had. People die before they're even 18, you know?
Yeah.
Just so for us to all sit here and just do the stupid shit it is that we do every day that keeps us all beat down and divided. Like that's what I want to see stop.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything I can to influence that
There you go.
at all costs, even if it does throw my world upside down. It's well worth it. But for now, I'm hanging in there and I'm doing what I can. And I really appreciate everybody who's along for the ride. So there's a lot more to come, and I'm excited for it. And I'll see you on the next one.
Wow. What a, I mean,
That shit's got to stop.
yeah, I can't believe that how humble this person is and how real as far as like he's hitting the nail on the head with the problems with the world. People need to start rejecting these political ideologies and cults that get them nowhere and keep you in a rat race. If we go back 50 years, you could find out that the Democrats and Republicans switch policy, switch ideologies consistently. Over and over, they switch back and forth. We're under a democratic administration, and you are got a proxy war going on over in Ukraine. And if you don't think that we are funding that and have our hands in that big time, then you are confused. So thank you, Christopher Anthony, I think is his name, or Christopher Oliver is his real name. I can't remember, but first name's Christopher. Oliver Anthony. Music is was his grandfather's name, and he's trying to keep that music alive. And good for him. And I hope that he can continue, right, to keep just having a conversation with people about what's wrong with the world and how to how to do better. And you can start by teaching your kids right and wrong. And I'm not talking about religion or going to church. Find out actual moral objective truths, right and wrong, and apply them into your parenting, because that is the only way that kids can be raised knowing what is real and true and not manipulated, controlled, and honestly groomed by the social indoctrination that goes on within schools and social media in this day and age. And teach kids to work and to be proud of their creations, because without it, that's what they're here for. They won't find purpose or value. We hope to hear back from Mr. Christopher again, and I won't hesitate to put him on the channel. And if it offends people, I'm sorry, be offended, leave, unsubscribe, do whatever you got to do to make yourself feel better and not associate yourself with any action or real world problems. Go escape and find another music artist that you love, that you don't have to think about nothing real, because that's where the majority of the people are these days, and that's all they care about. And unfortunately, the burden is on those of us who have higher conscious and think at a higher level and know that there are greater purposes out there, and you were not born to pay bills. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.